Good morning, Gangski. Some the coffee, another blessed day to be alive. Today's one is a little bit different. Since a child, I've always wanted to fit in, right? In primary school, I was very tall. I was taller than all my peers, all my classmates, and most of the teachers, right? And to fit in, I purposely slouched, so I would be like kind of the same height as other people, right? Okay. Grade 7, I was 182 centimeters, which was 5'11" and a half. The reason why I'm telling you guys this today actually is because today's video is about how to not care about what other people think. And I'm only saying this because I feel like it's dangerous to care about what everyone thinks all the time. Yeah, so I'm in Wimbledon right now. It was like a 30-minute train on the district line, and now I'm going to take the Dorking line to Surrey, which is another 15 minutes. It's like pretty early still. It's like 11:05, so I'll get there in like an hour-ish. Ladies and gentlemen, we've officially arrived in Box Hill. Now we're gonna do a 30-minute hike. I've never been here before. I've never really been outside of London, actually. And it's pretty cool because, you know, there's really good infrastructure here in the UK. You can just go wherever, really. It's all about, I don't know, I guess where you want to go. I feel like a lot of people make excuses like, oh, I don't got time to do this, do that. But I think you do need a plan in advance to be like, yo, like I want to go outside of London. I want to go check out some cool spots, right? Because otherwise, if you don't plan, then when the time comes, you'll just be like, oh, it's easy to just sit at home and just like, you know, watch Netflix and, you know, do the same things you do every day. Look where I am, bro. Like, I just arrived at the train station. It's freaking sick. Like, I mean, it's just a normal UK kind of town area, but like, I don't know. Basically, I'm just saying that it feels good to be outside of London. So if you see, I have a 28-minute walk. I'm gonna go ahead and turn right. Let's go. You know, me and my friend Taju, we actually talked about like the ideal house. So you'd want to be in a city, like within the vicinity of a city, right? Because a city has a lot of things to do, right? Movie theaters and, you know, plays and, you know, lots of nice restaurants, a lot of diverse things to go see, right? But also, a city can get very loud and annoying. So I'd say in the optimal sense of things, it would be you have an apartment that you own in the city, but then like a house right outside of the city. That way you can still transit into the city and have a place to stay, but then, you know, you're also right outside of the city in the sense that you can go see the nice nature, bro. Like, morning. Morning. I love your dog. Okay, we're only maybe 10 minutes into this hike already. Y'all see this? We're out here. Oh, dude, the view is so nice. Even just 10 minutes on this hike. Still got long to go though. Long way to go. Let's keep going. When I moved to boarding school, so I was about 13, 14, and I lived in Hong Kong my whole life up until then. And so I moved to the UK, no friends there, completely new country. And to make matters worse, I was the only Asian guy there. So, you know, fitting in was my main goal. My brother had been actually at the school for a couple years already. So he had a lot of friends, and he was like one of the older students. And I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but the older you are in a like high school setting, the more cool you were instantly for some reason. I didn't understand why that was, but that was the case, I guess. So everyone thought my brother was so cool. I would get people telling me like, oh, you're Sean's brother? Oh, when are you gonna look like Sean? When are you gonna have a glow up like Sean? So essentially I was living in the shadow of my older brother for like the good part of like three to 5 years, I would say. The point is, kids are dickheads, and I faltered to their opinions. And because of my brother being, you know, cool and having clout in my school, I wanted to do anything that he did, right? So I would be able to be cool like him, if that makes sense. And because my brother vaped at the time, I started vaping. I know, pretty horrible, right? Whew, hold on, let me catch my breath real quick. You know, I soon realized that it was pretty cool to vape, right? You know, the more I vaped, the more cool I would get with other people. You know, the more I drank, the more cool I'd be. The more drugs I took, the more cool I'd be, right? So I was like, okay, I made it my job to be like, this will now be my personality. I'm gonna do as much of this kind of stuff as possible so I can be like, quote unquote, cool, if that makes sense. An actual fun fact, in my school, I have the record for the most vaping busts in history, right? I was caught vaping 8 times, which is a lot. You know, 8 times it's nothing to be proud of. But at the time, I was very proud of it. I was like, yeah, that's me, right? And I went around saying like, oh yeah, I'm so cool. I got caught 8 times, right? And luckily, because my dad had connections into the school, right, I was able to not be kicked out of my school. I think most people get kicked out after like 2-3 times of getting caught, right? So I'm very thankful for my dad for that. And you know, 8 vaping busts in a school record is a lot, right? My school was founded in, I think it was 1923, which is a long time ago, which is basically almost, it's 101 years ago at this point. But at that point, like, I didn't really know, right? I was just like, I'm so swag, right? I got caught vaping 8 times, you know, I'm Mr. Swag over here. So essentially, because I went to a new school and, you know, I didn't know anyone and it was a new country and this, that, right? My solution to fitting in was to start vaping, start smoking, start doing drugs just to fit in, right? And I don't think that's a very good thing to have done. And just randomly, right? I remember it got so bad, like my vaping addiction. Yeah, it was an addiction. My vaping addiction got so bad that at one point I was just getting into a car and I was out of breath. And then I was sitting down and I was wondering like, why am I so out of breath? And I remembered it's because I've been vaping almost every second of the day, right? Every second I had, I would be vaping, right? It's crazy. You know, in the toilet, vaping. In the cinema, vaping, right? In the restaurant, oh, I'll just hit a vape real quick, right? That's why I do not like vaping, right? If you were to start some bad thing like a crutch, I'd say cigarettes is better because you can't smoke a cigarette indoors in a theater, right? Whereas you can hit a vape very discreetly. You know, the overarching thing is very tiring to consider the opinions of other people, right? It takes a lot of energy to consider everyone's opinions. Oh, this person thinks it's cool to vape, okay, I'll vape. This person thinks it's cool to do ketamine, I'll do ketamine, right? It's tiring, man. Let me tell you. Let me freaking tell you. And for the good part of, you know, that 13 to 18 period, I was trying to please everyone. I was a people pleaser. What can I say? You know, and being a people pleaser led to the demise of my mental health and physical health, right? I try to talk about this a lot because I want you guys to learn from my mistakes, right? Intelligence is learning from your own mistakes and wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes. So I'm trying to give you guys some wisdom so you guys don't make this same issue, right? Yeah, so I hope you guys know where I'm coming from when I say these kind of things, because like to a degree, like you can't really learn a thing until it's happened to you. And so you guys might have to go through this like kind of degenerate phase in your life to be like, okay, I don't really like doing this kind of thing. But if I can help at least one person, then, you know, it's fine. And if I help 0 people, at least I help myself, you know. Yeah. It's cool as fuck. So to recap, because I cared so much about other people's opinions, I started slouching, which worsened my posture and just my general confidence. And I also started vaping, smoking, drinking, and taking drugs, and just ruining my body. Isn't that great? Ooh. Oh shit. Essentially what I'm saying is you should embrace yourself, right? Embrace you. There's this Tyrese Gibson quote that I'll read off now. Don't ever believe that you gotta smoke what they smoke, drink what they drink, wear what they wear, and be a part of whatever it is they may be doing, right? If it's considered something negative to me, but yet someone else is doing it and it makes you happy, I want you to do what makes you happy. You have to do you, you know. What you may be doing may fall out of line of other people's expectations, but if it's genuinely and truly what you believe to be doing is right, then, you know, you should be doing it, right? And I'm not saying, oh, go smoke drugs, go kill people, do this, that, right? But if it's something like starting a gym page or starting a business or learning a new hobby, right? Or trying new things, right? Like, those things are harmless in most aspects, and I feel like you can't let those opinions, you know, stop you from trying those things that you want to try deep down, right? I've always wanted to try to, like there's this one specific sport or this kind of niche sport called tricking, and it's essentially gymnastics, but you're doing flips and stuff. You kind of look like an anime character in some aspect. I always wanted to try it, but I was afraid, oh, people are going to judge me and do this, that, right? And that just stopped me from trying it, right? I feel like in life, you know, because it's your body, well, I mean, you know, that's debatable, right? Maybe God gave you this body, but anyways, different thing, right? You have control of your life. It's your life, right? You should do what you want to do with your life. Another example of me caring about people's opinions that led to me not living a maximally fulfilling life is in high school, in the same high school that I was doing all these drugs and caring about people's opinions. I really liked this girl, and I'll say her name now because it was such a long time ago. I liked this girl called Imi, right? And she sat next to me in economics class. We always talked, and we had really good chemistry, right? I had really good chemistry with this other girl too, in my Spanish class. And I always wanted to ask her out, and I feel like she did like me. I told her friends that I was gonna ask Imi out, right? I told one of Imi's friends, and I never ended up asking her. And I think the reason why I didn't ask her was because I was afraid of what other people would think, you know, what other people would say and do, you know, in the sense of, oh, they're gonna laugh at me when I get rejected, right? You know, I'm pretty sure she liked me, but I was just too afraid of, you know, what other people thought, these external factors that I couldn't control. What I'm saying is caring about other people's opinions will only hold you back, right? I could have gone on that date with Imi, but I ended up not going on that date. And I wouldn't have known unless I asked, but I never asked even. I chickened out. And it's sad. It's something I still think. It's something I still think about to this day. Actually, I remember seeing this one video of this like 60 plus year old guy saying his biggest regret in all of his years of living was when he was doing an exchange program in Japan. Right, this guy's from the U.S. He was doing an exchange program in Japan, and there was this girl that he liked too. Right, and they would talk. They had really good chemistry, and this guy wanted to ask her out. And one day, he saw her go into the movie theater by herself, and so he went in there into the movie theater, and he saw her in the movie theater. The whole theater was full, and there was she was sitting down, and there was one empty seat next to her, right? The guy was too chicken, and he didn't end up going to sit next to her. And the next day, right, the girl goes up to him in this bad mood, saying like, you know, the guy should be the one to make the first move, right? And then she stormed off, right? And then they never spoke ever again. And this guy goes on to say, like, in all of his years of living, like, that's the one regret he had. And I think in some aspect, I don't want to live with that regret too, right? But if you let other people's opinions dictate what you do, then you're always going to be living with regret. And I don't wish regret on anyone, because, you know, I still think about the Imi example, and that American dude still thinks about that Japanese girl that he didn't go up to. So yeah, that's just another example of being held back by other people. You know, if I were to say some wise words, I would say that you have to learn to accept yourself, right? Self-acceptance. You're never going to fit in, because everyone is different in every single way, right? The way they look, the way they talk, the way they dress, the things they like. Everyone is different in some way. You have to accept, especially yourself, that you're different. If you're trying to copy another dude, right? Let's say, you know, I'm trying to copy David Lade or something, right? David Lade is this fitness influencer that I really like his physique. You know, it's something I aspire to look like. Right? Even if I tried to do everything like him, I would still end up Aiden Chu, right? I can't be Aiden Lade or David Chu, you know? I'm just gonna be Aiden Chu, but like with more muscle, if that makes sense. And, you know, it's an unfortunate realization that I had to make. Like, I'll never look like David Lade, but what you have to realize is you can't, even if you were a twin of someone, right? There's bound to be some differences, right? So even a dude I'm definitely not blood related to, I'm definitely not looking like him, unfortunately. And that's okay. Ooh, look at that view right there. Look at my son right there. And you should know that, like, what makes you different can also sometimes be your strength. I honestly don't think there's any bad differences, right? I've seen a person with a really weird birthmark, or like those people who are like have albinism, and they all look pretty sick. Like, that's what makes them unique, you know? You know, I gave the same example to this girl that I was hanging out with. She told me, oh, I want to look like Emily Ratajkowski. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, you know, get in the gym, you know, take care of your diet, exercise, be healthy, right? And then you might just end up looking really good. But what I told her as a really important caveat is everyone's genetics is different, right? And so the way you express, you know, muscle building, your insertions, your hip bone and this, that, right? Where you hold fat, your fat distribution, right, is going to be different to her, Emily Ratajkowski. Even if you work really, really hard, you're not going to end up looking like her, right? No one's going to ever look like Emily Ratajkowski unless you are her. Let's just name this person A, right? Person A cannot look like Emily Ratajkowski. Same way Emily Ratajkowski cannot look like person A, right? That doesn't make sense. And so I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying you cannot copy someone exactly, and you have to accept yourself. And what I told her is, you can go in the gym and you can be person A 2.0, but you just have to learn to accept yourself for who you are, and that you are different to other people, and that's okay, right? I feel like a lot of things nowadays is saying you're not good enough, saying this whole self-improvement thing. I've been in the trap of saying you're not good enough, right? And to some degree, people are not good at certain things, right? But that doesn't take away from your value, right? You can be fat as fuck, but like that doesn't mean you're an unvaluable person. It just means you're unhealthy, right? In the vector of health and fitness, right? It means you're on the lower spectrum of achievement, right? But that doesn't mean as a whole your value as a person is different, right? But I feel like nowadays a lot of this self-improvement stuff is saying like, you're not good enough. Here's this thing that you can do, right? You're not good enough. Come take these supplements. You are good enough, right? And you should do things you want to do, right? Just because someone else tells you, hey, you gotta go gym because you're not good enough, right? Does not mean you should go gym, right? You should go gym because you like going to the gym, right? I initially started because I fell into that trap of, I don't feel good enough. This is the only way like people will like me if I just build some muscle, right? And I think to some degree it did help with my mindset, with my health and this and that, right? But underneath, I'm still the same person that I was, right? If I was a dickhead, right, just because I lift a couple of weights a couple times a week and eat well and sleep well does not change the fact that I'm still a dickhead, right? Oof. With the fitness thing, it's a bit different because I feel like everyone should take care of their health, right? But then again, it's just my opinion, right? But for other things, some people say, oh, success is when you have 5 Ferraris and 12 Porsches, and you wear off-white all day, right? That's someone else's definition of success, right? But just because that they deem that successful does not mean you also should deem that successful, right? You in your eyes should be like, what do I like, right? What does success look like to me? What does a fulfilling life look to me, right? I have my own values, right? I want to be family-centric, beautiful wife and kids, fulfilling job, this, that. But, these values are values that I like, right? I genuinely thought about it. Like, of course, other people told me these values, right? I learned these values from other people, but I was like, this really resonates with me, so I'm gonna pursue it, right? Just because other people, like everyone is doing I gotta get a Ferrari, gotta get a Bugatti, does not mean that's what you want to do, right? If you genuinely don't like doing it. That's the trap a lot of people fall into. They think they follow these dreams and aspirations that are not even theirs, right? It's like this kind of rat race, saying like you're just chasing something that you don't actually want, and once you get it, you won't feel fulfilled, right? I'm lucky enough to know a lot of older people who quote unquote made it, right, in the sense financially, right, and they still don't feel fulfilled in life. Maybe they need religion, or maybe they just need to find like what they actually like doing. It's crazy. These people are 50, and they're like, holy crap, like I've been chasing this thing that is not something I actually want to chase. And that goes back to the fact that they allowed other people's opinions to dictate what they wanted to do, which is something that's not going to happen to me. I'll tell you that. And I'm not saying, don't care about anyone's opinions, right? Because some people genuinely have good intentions when they give you constructive criticism, right? But what you have to watch out for is, people who want to have malintent, right? And how do you know this? Well, you don't, right? The way I would say it is you should have selective listening or like qualified opinions. So a lot of the people who make these, judgments on you, play at your insecurities, they're uninformed judgments, right? Without the full knowledge of the situation. You should place more weight on those who know you better, right? Someone who's been, experienced life with you, someone like your mom or your dad, right? Or like a really good friend, and even then, right? These people who have known you your whole life and who you think have good intentions, such as your mom or your dad or your best friend, right? They may not even know truly deep down what's best for you, right? Based on the data they've collected and the version of yourself that you've given, right? They are making the best judgment they think is best for you, right? If you're not open to these people, then, well, yeah, obviously they're not going to know what's best for you and what you do like genuinely and truly, Up at the top of the hill with a bunch of car parks, and a lot of people are out here chilling. So that's cool. I'm gonna sit down, see if I can get like a drink or something to eat. This is the one we're getting. Could I just get the hog roast sausage roll, please? Thank you. I'm finished with cutting. Life is so good when you can bulk, or when you can at least eat food in an unrestricted manner, right? Not unrestricted within the bounds of. Here's me giving some rationales as to why I restrict myself. Unrestricted unrestricted within the framework of still being healthy and not overindulging in things, if that makes sense. It's just great, man. Like if I was still cutting, I'd be low energy first of all. Also, I would not be able to eat anything here. Like I'd probably just have a coffee or something, Yeah, so the bottom line of what I wanted to say was you can't please all the people all the time. In two worlds, right? Just imagine two different worlds, right? In a world of being a people pleaser and a yes man, one of the worlds, in a world of living in alignment with your own goals, there will always be an opposition, right? But at least in one of the worlds, you are doing you. I think most people make judgments on how another person should act when they don't even know how they should act. Most people make judgments on how another person should live their life when they themselves do not know how to live their own life. They're saying, oh, you should be this person, but they don't even know who they are, My goodness. This is the supposed viewpoint in the area. Oh my goodness. Dude, look at this freaking... Oh my God, bro. And caring too much is holding you back from reaching your full potential. And it may be even to the point of even harming you as well, because, I was essentially harming myself when I was putting all these poisons into my body, all this alcohol, all this vape smoke, cigarette smoke, drugs, right? I think it's important to be free, right? Doing you is the most freeing thing you can do. I know it's sometimes scary. The other people are going to judge you, right? But you'll soon realize once you're doing the thing, like a lot of people don't really care. That a lot of people have their own issues in life that, they need to solve. And like, they just utter off a quick remark like, oh, that's so weird, but you shouldn't allow that to affect you. And I feel like, especially as a man, you know, who wants to become independent and who wants to be successful in life, sometimes you can't allow, you know, external things to influence you, and you just gotta, essentially, you gotta lock in, is what I'm saying. Back before, I used to be really self-conscious about recording myself in public. I still am to some degree, but not as much anymore. I used to be like, oh, I don't want to record. I bought a whole freaking camera from Canon, like the Canon 70D, because Casey Neistat had it, and I was so inspired by Casey Neistat. I bought this camera, and then I basically never ended up using it for anything. I made the excuse that, oh, this camera is so big, and you know, I don't want to lug it around. It's not a convenient. But to be honest, if I really wanted to document things, I would have done it, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. And I think in the last couple of years, my confidence has increased a lot to the point where, like, yeah, I'm comfortable with doing things like recording myself in public like I am now, you know. Dude, I saw this really beautiful girl maybe a couple of days ago, 4 days ago. I guess it's not relevant to the video, but recently I saw this really beautiful girl. And I don't really call girls beautiful, but like there's a difference between hot and beautiful, right? Hot is like, okay, you're a baddie, quote unquote, right? But beautiful is like, it's something entirely different, right? It's like the energy and like elegance, right? Hot is just like, okay, you wear as little clothing as possible and very suggestive and provocative mannerisms, right? That's hot, you know. But beautiful is like, you're elegant, you're feminine, you're put together, right? And I saw this really beautiful girl, like, and I instantly felt this aura, this like connection, and I looked at her and she looked at me and I smiled, and we both smiled at each other, right? And I wanted to go up to her and say hi, but inside I chickened out, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not very dependable, I know. I'm not Mr. Perfect, Mr. Accountable, right? I wanted to go up to her, but I just somehow rationalized an excuse in my mind, like, oh, I don't got time, or, you know, whatever the excuse was. But yeah, I'm living with that regret now, again, for the second time. So first was the Emmy girl, and then now it's this other girl. You know, for me, I have a good and bad habit of trying to over optimize everything, right? Like gym, I have to optimize, and you know, gaming, before I had a really methodological approach to training in the game, right, to get good. And same for gym, you know, and then same for building computers, keyboards, modding mouses. That's what I used to do. A lot of these things, right? But I feel like with something like this, with people, I think, of course, you can be very methodological in that sense, but you can, I think the best way is to just go out there and get it, you know, get it in the sense of like, just like learn, you know, go approach some people, talk to some people, and naturally you'll just get it, you'll understand. You know, people get caught up in the planning. Oh, I got to do this, that. I got to say these certain lines, and you know, oh, once you say this pickup line, it'll 100% work. But like, it's not as simple as that, right? There's a lot of things that are just subconscious that you cannot realize, you cannot really articulate, and you have to source data from a representative sample. Okay, so if you're going to just university to find friends and, you know, potential partners, relationships, this, that, and things are not working out, maybe the sample you're looking at is biased, right? You're only looking at a certain cohort or population, subpopulation of the population, right? So maybe go to different places, you know, try different things, meet new people, go to different places, right? Then you can get a more holistic representative sample of the population. So go out there and try new things. And I think that's what life is all about, trying new things. This is a new thing for me. I'm on a hill in a place I've never been, doing a thing I never did. right? So today's a dub in my eyes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you liked the video and I provided some type of value to you guys, then obviously drop a like. And if not, then, well, yeah, still drop a like regardless. Because, you know, I don't want to be doing data science my whole life. I'm trying to make this YouTube thing work. And, okay, enough begging. Don't like the video if you didn't like it, right? I'm not here trying to beg. That's crazy. Begging is crazy, bro. Okay, drop a like if you actually liked the video, and if you didn't like the video, then well, drop a dislike. Okay, so I know what's up, but I certainly like making this video because it gave me an excuse to come outside and do something I've never done. So it's a dub in my eyes, regardless. Watch this be the most disliked video on YouTube. Crazy.
You know, like David Dobrik, he has like a bunch of friends that are like always in his vlog.
Oh, really?
And they make like a huge part of his vlog. Yeah. Microplastics.
Microplastics, exactly. Dude, come on.